Hi, and welcome to Celebration Bar Review. This is the end of one of our series of videos, and it's on improvements or tips to improve your bar scores. And today is tip number 1, or tip number 10, depending on how you're counting. In my mind, it's probably the most important. And I was thinking about, what you might think tip number 1 was before I began. Some of you might think, well, he's going to say you have to study harder. Well, that's important, and that's a good way to raise your scores, but I don't think it's everything. And some of you might be thinking to yourselves, well, he's got some great mnemonic device, memorize some extraordinary amount of material using mnemonics, and that'll improve your scores. No, I'm sorry, that's not it. Some of you might be thinking, you always answer the letter C if you're stumped on a multiple choice question. I don't think so. Well, what is it? What's going to improve my scores? Should I type my exams rather than handwrite them? Well, that'll help. Should I have a particular seat in the exam? Should I make sure that I take the test in a particular location versus another one? No, unless the choice is New Jersey or California. Well, what is it? What's going to improve my scores? Do I need to be smarter or more efficient or more effective or better? No. Here's really what's going to improve your scores the most. What's going to improve them is what you think is going to happen on the exam. Let me say it a different way. If you expect to succeed on the exam, if you absolutely believe that you're going to pass the exam, you will pass the exam. If, on the other hand, what you believe is that you hope you'll pass the exam, or you want to pass but you're afraid you won't, or you think for sure you won't because you haven't in the past, you're pretty likely to fail it again, or to fail it for the first time. If you look at our website, you'll see that we say when you absolutely have to pass the bar, guaranteed. Now notice what we don't say. When you absolutely can't afford to fail, guaranteed. See, there are people who function in life on the theory that they can't afford to fail. They're the people that call and say, I have to pass because I just can't afford to fail the exam. And failure is so much a part of their language. It's so much a part of their thought process. It's so much a part of the way they approach this that they draw failure to them. Now, I know that there are people out there who say, oh, that's just that law of attraction, blah, 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 new age stuff. No, it's really pretty straightforward. The things that you think about, the things that you focus on, the expectations that you bring into your life really are the things that happen in your life. If you've been planning to fail, you will fail. If you are convinced that you're not smart enough to pass the exam, you're right. You see, it's only when you believe that you're qualified to be a member of the bar, when you believe that you deserve that opportunity, that you then perform in a way that demonstrates just that skill. Oh, you'll study and you'll learn and you'll be able to provide the information that the examiners want in the way that they want it. That's what your work and a bar review course does when they work together. We're very good at bringing all of that together. But it doesn't matter how good the bar review course is or how competent the teacher or the mentor is. If the student doesn't believe that they can be successful, they simply will not be successful. Now, some of you are saying to yourselves, well, he's just one of those positive thinking freaks. I'm a good, strong cynic. That's how I got to law school. That's how I did it, blah, 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 blah. And then think about the quality of your life. You really happy with what's going on? You happy with where you are today? Are you happy about the fact that you're going to have to take the bar exam? My guess is that the answer to most of those questions, if you answered honestly, would be no, you're probably not very happy. The person that comes to me and says, I'm pretty excited about this. I'm not thrilled that I have to take a bar exam, but I'm excited that I'm going to get to learn something and I'm going to stretch myself, or I'm going to come back to some things that I haven't thought about in years, or I'm getting a chance to really evaluate my skill set, and here we go, and this is the gateway to all the things I want to do with the rest of my life. That person typically does very well on the exam. Regardless of whether they went to Harvard or Yale or the University of Virginia Law School, or they went to Billy Bob's School of Law and Barbecue Cooking, in California. it doesn't really matter because that person truly embraces and engages the positive that's out there. They get the most out of a bar review course. They learn how to adapt themselves to the exam that they're taking. They are open and receptive to the teaching that's provided. When a student comes to me and says, oh, I don't really need that, and I don't need that, and don't bother me with those lectures, or I don't need books, or just give me the law. Okay, I mean, sure, we'll do that, but you know what? It's not a good sign, because when that person comes at the process, what they're really saying is, I'm afraid of success, I'm afraid to succeed, I'm afraid to pass, and so I'm limiting, I'm cutting off, I know better. And the truth is that most people know better about a lot of things, but very few of them know better about the bar exam. Most people approach this like they're walking through a minefield. They tiptoe, they try and get through it as quickly as they can. They hope nothing explodes on them. It's a graphic, ugly description, but in fact, I watch people go through this every year. And then there are people who, instead of picturing a minefield, picture a field of beautiful flowers and a great spring day and clear air and great skies and lovely grass. And they simply take their time and they walk through and they enjoy it and they appreciate it and they drink it in. The people that drink it in are the people who are teachable. And the people who are teachable have an expectation about the process that's so much better than the people who are rigid and non-conforming and convinced that they know better. Those people who are so convinced that they know exactly what they need to pass typically are the ones that don't do very well on the exam. And then they become hard-edged and bitter and angry at the bar examiners or the bar review or their law school or whatever it might be. I've really found over the years there's almost no correlation between one's law school, one's LSAT scores, one's grades in law school. None of those things dramatically correlate to bar exam pass rates. Oh, I know there are studies out there that say if you're a smarter person you should do well, but here's the point. If you were smart enough to get into law school anywhere in the world and smart enough to pass and get out of law school anywhere in the world, if you've been qualified to sit for the bar examination that you're now about to take, you are smart enough to pass the examination. It is not about your intelligence level. And in general, it's not about your work ethic. You see, most people couldn't have gotten law school, out of law school and into practice or into this step without being reasonably hard workers. It's not about tricks, it's not about gimmicks, it's not about having some secret inside edge, it's not about knowing the questions. None of those things ultimately make a whole lot of difference. What ultimately is the greatest determinant, the number one way that you improve your scores, is to believe and to accept the concept that as you think, that's what's going to be drawn to you. That's what's going to happen to you. Try this. For the next week, think about good things happening to you. Not necessarily about the bar exam, about any part of your life. Just focus on the good things as much as possible. Oh, I know there'll be some moments when bad things creep in, but concentrate on the good things. And in a week's time, see if you haven't had a better week than the week before. And if you really want to be down in the dumps, think about nothing but the bad things, the debts, the fear, the loss of job, the loss of your home, whatever bad things, health problems, whatever it might be. Focus on those just for a day and see what a crappy day you have. When you come to the bar exam expecting to do well, you will do well. If you come to the bar exam expecting to do poorly or having played defense, planning to find a way not to fail, you've reduced significantly your chances of being successful. All the improvements I've talked about in this series, all the ways of improving your scores, are all valid, but none of them will overcome a bad, negative attitude. Not a single one. And anybody that tries to tell you that this is all science and that all you have to do is memorize and learn more, they're just teasing you. I hope that's helpful. I look forward to a successful result for you on the bar exam, and I appreciate you having been with us during this series. Good luck on your test and have a great day.